I want to share with you today something about God that I'm sure you're aware of, but I just want to remind you of it. And that is that God is in control. No matter what we face, no matter what's going on around us, we can rest confidently that God is with us and God is guiding our steps as we seek to walk in obedience with Him. I recently recorded a course for a Bible Institute that we work with, and the study was on the life of Ruth and Esther. And these two Bible women give us an incredible examples of being used of God and walking in obedience to God and the blessings that it brings. I was especially impressed though with Esther's life as she became queen and the circumstances of her life. We see several things about her and her circumstances that I think can be an encouragement to us in the circumstances that we are facing. The first thing was God was in control. Although His working was not necessarily visible to everyone, God was very much at work orchestrating the events of Esther's life and the saving of God's people. The second thing was that Esther was placed on the throne, it says, by her uncle. Actually, he realized it, I think, before she did, that she was there for the very timing of what was taking place. Let me read you just a couple verses from Esther chapter 4, verse 14. This is her uncle speaking to Queen Esther. It says, "For if thou altogether holdest thy peace at this time, then shall their enlargement and deliverance arise to the Jews from another place. But thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed, and who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this?" God had placed Esther there, and it was an incredible position to really make an impact on the rescuing of the Jewish people. Another phrase in the same chapter, in verse 16, when Esther decided that she would take the risk of going before the king to plead for her people, she said, "If I perish, I perish." That's in verse 16. That shows us that Queen Esther was ready and willing to give of her life, if need be, to rescue her people and to spare her people. So as we make the comparison to where we are today, the things that we're facing, the first thing I thought of was that God's in control as much today as He was in Esther's day. And you and I can rest confidently in Him. We should rest boldly, knowing that He is the one that is in control. And we can, even though we might not see all of His hand or all of the details pointing directly to Him, we know that He is in control. And He is still the God of our lives as much as He was the God of Esther's. The second thing is that you and I are alive today by God's plan. It is no accident that we are alive, living through this crazy year of 2020. And it's for a very important mission, I believe, and that is for us to be a light of consistency and truth in the midst of these crazy days. And so when you find yourself overwhelmed or concerned with what you see going around you, and you wonder, what in the world am I even doing here? We can realize that God has placed us here, and we need to seek Him and to faithfully be in His Word and looking to Him for the counsel from His Word that we need to walk today as He would have us to, making the impact that He wants us to for His glory. The third thing I think we can apply is that you and I need to determine to do right no matter what. And that's what Esther did when she was willing to say, "If I perish, I perish." You and I need to have that same confidence in our walk with the Lord and with our desire to please Him and to serve Him, that whatever He asks of us, we will be willing to do. It's exciting when we look at it in this perspective. God could have placed us in any other time in history if He had so chosen. But He desires for you and I to be faithful today, where we are in the midst of the circumstances that we face. We don't have to be afraid. We don't have to doubt or question Him. But He is the one thing that we can trust in, as being consistent and faithful and unchanging. And so I hope that these thoughts about Esther will be an encouragement to you as you go about your day and your week ahead. Ask the Lord to give you that heart of courage and boldness to speak of Him, and the obedience to walk with Him wherever and however He might lead you in these days ahead. So as we think of what's ahead, we have no idea, do we? There's still several months of 2020 left, but we can know who goes before us, and that is the God who is in control.